And then when they record it, that means when they make it part of the official records, this stamp up here goes up top. Okay? That stamp right there tells you that it is now recorded in the public records. And you can see the date it did it was October 10th. So that was the same day as the auction. And it was done at 12:29 and 47 seconds. So that's pretty fast actually, because this sale started at 10 a.m. and probably ended around 11, 11:30, 12 o'clock at the latest. And these people came back with their money pretty fast, because by 12:30 they had already paid, and this is recorded into the records. And they also have to pay a recording fee, which is basically a tax. It's just a fee. The real tax is the doc stamps, and that's right there. All right, and look right here. It tells you who to return this to, and that could be, part of the people that have bought it. And that is about it. So if you have any questions about this tax deed, go ahead and do post a comment with the question, and I will do my best to answer the questions. And what I'll probably end up doing is a frequently asked questions video, and that way everybody can ask the questions that they may have. Okay? So I think that's pretty much it for the tax deed. It's very, very simple. Now, if you buy a property at the tax lien sale, if you buy a tax lien certificate, you don't get this whole pomp and circumstance. You don't walk away with a tax deed. You walk away with a tax lien certificate. And in these days, most of it is electronic, so they don't even issue most of the certificates. You might just get a record of your transaction electronically, but they don't even offer a certificate. So when you get the actual deed, you see here, there's a legal description and a parcel ID number, and here it is in the legal description, the unit number for this particular condominium. So they own the property and are the owners of that property. Okay? So what will likely happen is, if someone is living there, they're going to go ahead and either talk to that person face to face or notify them by mail that they have now bought this property, and that now they'll need to pay, whoever is in possession of the property will need to pay them rent or move out. So it's up to that owner, the new tax deed owner's prerogative, as to whether or not they want to let the person stay there and continue paying rent if they were paying rent to the previous owner, or they want them out and maybe they just want to resell the property. So one thing you always want to do when you buy these tax deeds is make sure that you've looked at the property, because if you haven't looked at it and then you go to find out I bought a condo and I didn't want a condo, and oh by the way, the condo doesn't exist, even though it's a unit number, when I go out to the condo complex, the unit doesn't exist. And that's happened before, where there's a unit number but it doesn't really exist. So you bought nothing. You can't just go back to the county and say, oops, I made a mistake, can you please give my money back? Nope, doesn't work that way. What they're going to say is all sales are final. You got to be big boys and big girls and know what you're doing. So what will they do? Well, you can go ahead and pay the balance, but they will never refund your money if you've already paid the balance. If you already paid the balance, they're going to tell you, sorry, you're not going to be able to give your money back. If you haven't paid the balance, and let's say you're asking them, hey, can I get my, no, you haven't paid the balance, and you go over there, and they tell you, well, you know what, we're not going to forgive you for this, they're just going to ban you if you decide not to pay it. Because you're thinking, oh, I haven't paid it yet, so I'm just not going to go ahead and pay my money for something that doesn't exist. That's fine. But now you're going to get banned. That means you can never come back, or maybe it's just for a certain amount of time. Okay? And there was one property that we saw coming up to the auction. We went to go check it out, and from the street it looked nice. It was a newer house. So we got out, walked up to the house, and turns out there was a fire in the house. I don't know how long ago, but you can see the black flame marks underneath the soffits of the house, which you can't see from the street. And you peek inside through the windows, and it's just nothing inside. Everything was burned out, but from the outside, it looked like a gorgeous house until you walk up, and you realize there's been a fire inside. Everything is gone and charred. So that's not a good property to buy. So apparently someone ended up buying that property, and then later they went over there and found out this is a burnout. So they ended up buying two properties at that auction. The other one was okay. And from what I heard, and I don't know if this is speculation if this is true or not, they went back to the clerk and paid for the one property and then said, we'll be back to bring you the money for the second property. Well, they had already seen that property that was burned out. That's the burnout. So they were like, we'll be back to pay the second property, and they never came back to pay the second property. So they only did that so they wouldn't have any problems with the first property. So they paid off the first, and they got banned because they didn't come back and pay the second property. So you don't want to get caught in that situation. How confident would you feel going to pay your amount when you win it if you know I did not get out of the car to go check out the house? You have to check out the property. Okay? Make sure you go look at the property. The biggest tip I can give you before you get to this tax deed phase, make sure you check out the property. Alright? Those are my final thoughts that I'll leave you here with is check out every property before you buy it. Don't buy anything sight unseen, or at least contact somebody and ask them to look at it for you. Because what you see on Street View may not actually be what's going on with the property. Alright, so this is a tax deed, and if you have any questions about tax deeds, or this actual tax deed, or any videos you want me to cover, just go ahead and send me a, post a comment, and let me know. But I think this is actually fairly easy to tell, and this is just it. Pretty simple. Alright, so sayonara. Have a good one. Happy bidding. Happy auctioning.